This video is made possible by our generous supporters on Patreon. Check out patreon.com/NWR for all the details.
The line between good and bad licensed games is always very thin. For every DuckTales on NES, there's whatever the hell that Back to the Future NES game was. So when a Jay and Silent Bob video game popped up as coming soon to the Nintendo Switch, I might have had some doubts. While Jay and Silent Bob Mall Brawl is very much for fans by fans, the developers at Spoony Bard put together a loving retro beat-em-up that is jam-packed with references to View Askew, Kevin Smith projects, as well as its clear inspirations, Double Dragon and River City Ransom. Mall Brawl originated as a crowdfunding bonus for the forthcoming Jay and Silent Bob Chronic Blunt Punch. As such, the style and design remind me a lot of the retro Bloodstained Kickstarter bonus, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, which is also available on Switch. Mall Brawl doesn't have a whole lot to it. The graphics are pure NES-era glory, featuring Kunio-esque Jay and Bob doing battle with evil hockey players, mall cops, and even the Easter Bunny. Co-op is available, though I primarily played by myself, which has some added layers of strategy. You can switch between Jay and Bob at the press of a button. When one dies, you automatically switch to the other, and over time, the other one can be revived. Additionally, when one of the heroes is low on health, switching away from that character will let them heal up to about half health. It's still relatively skin deep, but it's a neat twist. Controls aren't that complex. You've got punch, kick, and jump. Each character has their own specials. Jay does a spinning kick, while Silent Bob throws down a Hagar-esque lariat. It's evident in some of those touches that the developers have an affinity for old-school beat-em-ups. Easily the best bit is Adobo, who is modeled after the legendary Double Dragon baddie, Bobo, but since it's a mall, he's got a pretzel for a head. Hell, there's even a shopping cart sequence, reminiscent of the Battletoads bike level. Even though it's not as hellacious as its inspiration, it's still kinda maddening. While the video game gags are really cute, the real bread and butter of references is found in the world of View Askew, Kevin Smith's movie universe that features the likes of Clerks, Mallrats, and Jay and Silent Bob. I was a big-time Kevin Smith fan back in the 2000s, so a lot of these references landed for me, though I can't help but admit how esoteric most of them are. Do you remember that episode of the Clerks cartoon where Gilbert Gottfried voiced Patrick Swayze riding a horse? No? Well, that's not surprising, but I sure as hell remembered that and giggled when the boss of a level was Swayze on his horse named Point Break, or whatever its name actually was. Mall Brawl is very reminiscent of the most recent Kevin Smith movie, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, which I saw, and because I had that base knowledge of being a fan from the early 2000s, it landed for me. It has so many inside jokes and references that it's kind of just nonsense if you're not familiar with the source material, because then you're not in on the joke. However, I count myself among the people who are in on the jokes and understand the references, so Mall Brawl is ultimately a cute as hell little game. Remove the video game jokes and Kevin Smith references, and Jay and Silent Bob Mall Brawl is a run-of-the-mill retro beat-em-up. There's nothing bad about it, but it also doesn't really do anything special. As a backer bonus for Jay and Silent Bob Chronic Blunt Punch, it seems like a fantastic deal. As an individual game, it's a little bit of a harder sell, but if you can recall quotes from Mallrats and still occasionally toss in a snoogans into everyday conversations, Mall Brawl is a good time whether you're playing by yourself or with a buddy on your couch.
This video is made possible by our generous supporters on Patreon. Did you know that Nintendo World Report is funded directly by fans like you? When you support Nintendo World Report on Patreon, you get immediate access to multiple exclusive podcasts every month, exclusive Discord channels, an early look at select content, and more, all for as little as $1 a month. Check out patreon.com/NWR for all the details.